Um, let's continue from. All right. So we started with this simple project the, yesterday. So uh, we've already set up the projects, and we're going to be using React. We installed the React router done for our routing, and I explained the reason why we need that is because of this area here. Normally, we can do it as a component, like we have a state that determine whether to show this one or to show the thank you component. But I said we're not going to follow that route. We're going to do it as if we are moving from one page to another page, and we're able to set up our routing yesterday. So let me go back into the app.jsx. And as you can see here, we have this route that has been set up. So anytime you go to slash, we have the layout because whether you're on the thank you page or you're on the page where you're going to fill the form, you always have the same layout. The only thing that's just changing is the data inside this white box, and that's the reason why we have this page layout, which is what we worked on yesterday. This layout here that we worked on, and anytime you go to slash, by default, it's going to give you this home page, which is what we said as index to be true. But if you now go to slash thank you, then you are going to see the thank you page. And if you go to any other page that we don't know about, then it will show this H1 for now, but it's something that we need to change later on to show a better UI for 404 page. And we supply the route into this router provider. And inside this our page layout where we started with the stuff. So nothing much. What do we have there? We just have the div. We have this aside, which is this gradient side here, and we have this main. And this gradient here, we're using the background because we have two type of gradient to use based on the screen. So if you are working on the mobile, we have the one we're using, and when we're working on the desktop screen, we have the other one there. And this we did the stuff yesterday through our CSS where we have the layouts. So we have the aside. We are using the mobile image by default because we are working for mobile design. So whatever we are doing, we always assume that we're on the mobile, but we can now expand using the media query, which is what we did down here by changing some stuff when we are on desktop, which is what is showing here. So when we're on mobile, the stuff is on top and the white area is down. But once we move to the 768, then it's put them side by side. As you can see, yeah, I think this thing is small to me on tablet, but when you get to a bigger screen, it's actually okay. So we can actually increase this thing too. So on 768 like this, I don't like it, so I'm going to make adjustments. So when it is on 768, this one that is 1.3, which is small, should be around 1.5. So, but it can be this 1.3 on a large screen, which is this 1024. So all this one, I'm not doing anything with them, so I will remove it. The only thing I'm just updating there is this flex. So I don't need to change other value. The only value that I'm just updating is the flex. So I don't need to bring other one into this one because it's just waste of typing. So saving this, we're still going to be using 1.3 on this 1024. But if you go to tablet, it will increase it a little bit like that. So 1.3 and this is 2 like that. So the next thing we need to work on now is to put this our card. We need to work on the card layout. So and as you can see the way it is on the mobile compared to the way it is on the desktop like that. And as you can see, they are kind of close to each other on mobile, but they are not at all on the desktop. And don't forget, we always work on the mobile. So how do we do this in? What we can do here is to put these two cards in a container, and that container now is what we now start to like move it around anywhere we want, and again to talk to all these cards. And if you look at the assets that are shown, that all these things, they are not like this. you have to be the one that will bring them together. So, and again, to this card, the way we are going to do it, we need to put a div inside it so that we can move, we can create content on top of it. This is like it's going to be a background in a div. Well, inside that div, we now create all the content we want, but those content are going to, you know, just like what I mentioned now, this one is going to be background to that div, so that whatever content that is inside it, they are going to be placed on top of it like that. If you want to do it in that way, and if you don't want to use background, you can use image, but you have to use absolute positioning to move other content on top of it. But I think background is more clearer than using or any one of them that you prefer. There, I think I will go with the. I will not. Should I use background? I will not use background. What I will do is to use image, then move other content on top of it so that you can see how to deal with absolute positioning. But if you don't want to do with that absolute positioning, just use that background. And once you use it as a background there, all this other content on top of that box will always be there. So you can now start using your flex property to arrange all this thing because nothing much on this thing. But the only side that I know that will be problem is this one here like that, because you have to make sure that the number actually appear at this side. So it will now be moving towards, well, there are three numbers, so you can't insert more than. So we are going to see. That's what we need to do today. So we are done with the layout. So the next thing we need to add to this layout by this side is to work on the card. So here I'm going to create the card like this. So let me just call it payment cards or payment card. But the card is going to have both the front and the back. But we don't have anything like this, so we need to create it under our component. I think I did, as you can see, I have this back and this front. So I create them in their own for that too. But apart from that, I'm going to have another one here too, which is going to be payment card. And this payment card, this is wrong side. I wanted to create this in on the component. As in I'm doing it. Okay, it's there. So payments, then we have card. Inside this pay, I'm going to have the payment card.jsx. We are not dealing with TypeScript. So and again too under it, I'm going to have style dot module dot css. So and inside it, that's what I will now import this back and front. Then that this one here, the layout doesn't need to know whether I'm doing back and front. The only thing I knows about back and front is this payment card. The only thing this one care about is the card or what I want to put at that place. If you want, you can just put everything inside this file. You don't need to separate them like this. You can just put all the code here, but I don't want the code to be too much on one file. So that's why I'm separating it. Since we are going to be dealing with our global state, so whatever they need, they can just go to that store and take this in there. So what's that? So what we need now is to import this one, but I've not created anything. So we need to create a file. So RAFCE like this. So which is going to create this payments card. This line one, I don't need it. This first line, I don't need it. What I just need is the import styles from style dot side dot module dot css. Close this sidebar so that I can focus more on what I'm. Then inside this one, I'm going to give it the class name. This is going to be styles dot payments card like this. Or I can add wrapper into it. So that's all. Whatever I place inside it, I'm going to target it from it. So what do we need to place inside? We need to place our front and the back. So I think what we call it, so front, that means I've not created. I've not created this stuff. It's not bringing it. Yeah, see, I've not created anything. So that's why it's not suggesting. So I have the backcard.jsx. So RAFCE should kind of create the stuff for us. So yeah, backcard. Again, too, here we're going. Let me create the CSS file. So the style.module.css. The same thing too for the back. It's very much I will separate it like this, so but I'm just doing it. So this is going to be the front card.jsx, and at the same time we're going to have the style.module.css. So inside this back card, I don't need this line too. So this should be import styles then from style.module.css. And this one should just be class name, which is going to be the style.back card wrapper like this. So let me just copy this line into this one, save the file. Let me copy it into this. Let me import this one first. Let me import this one first. Then inside this front card, let me do the same thing yet. Oh, I've not created anything. REFC. So here we're going to have the style. We're going to have the class name. So the style then dot front card.
Now we don't know the marital status, so we need to be sure of okay. So we need to be sure of the marital status.
So the payments here, I need to import the front card, and at the same time I need to import the back card like this. So saved. Close this in. So saved, format and save. Then inside the layout, save, and we should have the text coming out here. So see them, they're already on the screen, but they are not positioned the way it's supposed to be. So let's work on each one of them. So let's start with the front card, because that one have much work compared to the back card. Because if you look at the front card, we are the one that is going to add this logo. We need to do this. We need to do this one, and we need to do this. But the card, the back one, this is the positioning is what you just need to do on that one there. So let's work on the front first. So inside this front card, we need to include the image there. So the image, where is it coming from? It's going to be coming from our public. And since it's coming from the public, I will just use images like this. Is that the text that is there? So let me check the name. So images, and it's going to be okay. BG card front. So BG card, and you can see they even call it background self. So normally we're supposed to use it as background, but I don't know the original size. So assuming I know the size or something I can check here, I will just apply it as background. Then give the card the same height and width. Don't forget the background doesn't control the height and the width of the image. But using this image now, since it's part of the child of this div, it's going to increase it according to that box. So if this thing is saved, as you can see, it will expand that box according to the image size. But assuming you use it as background, it will not work like that, because it doesn't know about the background. So if you just go to this front card, for example here, opening this file, go to the CSS, and this is a front card wrapper like this. If you use background, image, URL, and you pass this stuff, save, like that, you are not going to see anything because the thing doesn't have any content inside it. So you have to be the one that will give you the height that you want, maybe for example 100 pixels, and the width should be 100 pixels. So whatever you now give it, that's what the background is going to follow, because it's background. So whatever you use is what the background is going to feed. But instead of being, doing assuming I'm walking through the Figma, I'll go to the Figma, check the size, and I will size this box accordingly. But I don't want to be doing this work myself, so I will not use this method. I will just go with what I want to do, so that this one is already like it's using the size of the image already, like that. But if you want to know the size, so you can actually know it from here. To just click on this inspect, go there, it will tell you the size. As you can see, it is 447 by 245. So you can now remove it and use it as background so that you don't need to do positioning on top of the stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to use this method. So here now, what do I need to do? I need to have another div which is going to be content. So this one is going to have a class. So class name, which is going to be the styles dot front card content. So this content now is what I will position absolute. So once I position absolute, I can tell it to cover up its parent. You know, the parent too is dependent on the image, so everything will size accordingly. And if you notice, inside this thing we need the logo. So we need the logo, which is the image that we need to import. Apart from logo, we need that text that is down. Yes, this is what we are trying to do. So this is it. So this is the logo, this is the text, and this is the other one. And if you look at these two, you see that the two of them they are down. So and the logo is at the top. So we need to have a group for these two items are there. Let me move this in to the side. Let me increase it. So what do we need to do? So after that logo at the top, which is something we can quickly import to image, it is known as card logo. So images are these AIs. So card logo. So it's always good that you use the auth. So this is going to be the logo. This one is going to be the card, or let me just say front card like this. So apart from this logo, we need to have another stuff here. We can't just build this logo. It will not work. So since we're using modules, this will be styles dot front card logo like this. So let me duplicate it so that I don't need to start creating the stuff again. So what do we need to do here? Close this sidebar so that we have enough room to work with. So it's not going to be local, it's going to be the info. So card info. The info is this number, the name, and the counter that is there. So delete this one, delete this one. So inside it, if you look at it, I will have this H3 to represent this number like that. So H3 by default is going to be 0 because when you are doing this thing for the first time, you won't have any number. What you are going to have here is just 0. I think it's 00. So where is 0? Where is the states, the first states that you are going to have? Yeah, as you can see, what you are going to have there is 00 by default. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So in these places, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? So after this H3, we need to have group for this name and this your expiry date. So we need to have the group. So I'll just duplicate this one at the top, move it down, and here close the div. So this is going to be card info expiry like this. So expiry date, let me complete it. So from there, no, it's not just expiry date. It has so I will just call it info name and expiry date. What kind of naming is this? So it's just being descriptive. So but by reading what is here, you know what is going on. So here we have the P. This thing is, I don't know what this AI is checking. Oh, so and it's picking everything. So just know that your computer is not safe. Okay, we have this info, so save it. As you can see, they are not on top, they are down because you see them as a separate element. But by the time we absolute this stuff now, everything is going to work. So in order for this thing to work, what we need to do is to position this one as relative so that we can put all this one on top. So position relative, pure relative like this. So once this one is positioned as relative, then inside it we have this front front card content. So this one now we can position it as absolute. And once it's positioned as absolute, it doesn't have its own place again. So it will be removed and everything will go inside. But I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing anything. So what is going on? So what did I use? Front card content. Is that not what I'm using?
You have shared purchase summary
So position relative, is it more than what is supposed to be there? Because I'm not seeing anything which is supposed to change. What is it saying? Apps. So background should be red. Yeah, it's there. So what's going on? Is it not inside the card? So let me close this one. Yes, we have this, which supposed to be inside the stuff. And let me move it down. Oh, I think I have seen what is going on. It's there already. So if I remove this one, it will full. But now if I put it back, it will do the same. And this one is not working because I have not offset it. So what I can just do here is just use inset. Inset means left, right, top, bottom, everything at once. So not that I have to be doing it one by one like that. So as you can see, so insert, what it's doing is left is zero. So it means on the left, it will stick to this. The right will be zero, the top will be zero, and the bottom will be zero. So that's the reason why it's covering the entire stuff. But the thing will not have background. So it will not fake it in a way that it look as if it's on top of the image. So remove this one, save. As you can see, all the content will now be on top of the stuff. So what do we need to do? We need to use, which is the same thing as you using background. As me, it's background now. You don't need to do this work. It's always going to be at the back of the content. But since we use image, then it will not. So padding should be 1 rem because we don't want it to jam back. What happened? What's going on? The width should be 100%. The height should be 100 because it's doing nonsense again. And so height should be 100% like this. So what is happening again? So background color should be red, which is now more than what I want. What did I use? No wonder. I use 1 rem is using 11 rem. So yeah, calm down. So what do we need to do? We need to space them. So display flex. And if you display the flex, it want to move them side by side. There are two groups, the logo and this one. But that's not what we want. So flex direction should be column. Then I can now justify. There is extra space. So what we need to do, justify. What am I using justify? Because this is the way it is before. I've changed it to this. So justify is 9 years. So justify content space between. And if I save it, as you can see, all this one will come down like that. So the logo is here. All this one will come down. But I don't want this one too to just come down like that. I think I need to add in bottom. I can just, or what I can do is that instead of him doing like this, I can put all of them in another group, and that group I will limit the height so that it will close to this side. Because if you look at it here now, it's actually getting there. So we just need to space these two. So that's what is going to fix that one. So yeah, I have this front card. It's not content. It is the info. So display as flex. So once I display as flex, it's going to move them side by side, but that's not what we want. So flex direction should just be column, gap should be around that 1 rem like this, so it will shift that number up so that this thing can come down. Another one there is this front card, which is going to be this info, what is that, name and expiry date. So this one too display flex, but now this one's supposed to be not expire till. This one is expiry. So display flex. So once we display it as flex AIC, because vertically they need to be aligned and the other one needs to go to the opposite side. So AIC gap should be 1 rem. In case there is no space, we know that it's going to be space, but just in case, then justify content space between justify content space between like this, and it's going to move the other number to the opposite side. But this count here is not where I want it to be. So let me check the UI again. So you can see there's a lot of space on the padding that I use is not small, is too small. So let me increase the padding maybe around these two area like that, so that we can have that enough space. And this gap is not enough yet too. So this one rem that I'm using, let me increase it to this other value here, maybe around these two, so that I can shift that number up a little bit. So you can see the number is now up again. I don't know the font size, so and again here, as you can see, it's full the entire stuff that we have. The one, two, three, four. How many? One, two, three, four. So it looks like this card is too much. So I need to, maybe we can reduce the card a little bit because the parent is depending on that card. So since the parent, so inside this front end wrapper, whatever stuff, cards, where are you? Wrapper, there is an image there. So the width, I think the width we saw there is for whatever stuff. So the width should be 380 pixels. Like this. So whatever that is inside it, no, that's bad. No, it's affecting all of them. It should be direct image, not the one that is not direct. So as you can see, it will reduce the width, and as the width reduce the height. I don't need to talk to the height because the browser is smart by default. Once you reduce any one of the side, it will change the other one to match the structure, the aspect ratio that the thing is in. So if I reduce it more, maybe around that 350 like this, you see that. And don't forget, other content is depending on the shape of the image. So once the image reduce, the parent will reduce. The one that is absolute 2 will reduce and everything. But now I can see that our padding is not. So let me just try this 380 under this info. So this front card info, I think we used H3, right? So the font size by default, H3 I think is using, so let me use 2 rem if it's not too big. So and it's too big, 1.25 rem. Is that not what we're using before? So and this is the problem. You can see one of the problem of absolute now. This thing is going outside because it's more than what it's supposed to take. So and this, so we have to find the balance in between this gap and the fonts that you want to update, because we need to make sure that it's getting so close to the end. And let me see the space in between the stop. I think the space is like that. And again, too, before I even continue, the color should be white. I will not even copy any of the color that the design is using. So I can see this 2 rem is too big, but now since I'm increasing it, so it should come down a little bit. And I think 7.5 should be okay for it. Now 6.25 should be okay. But I'm not checking the mobile. Don't forget we're working for mobile. So which means this thing is not okay on the mobile. We're working for the mobile. We're supposed to be on the mobile. So this thing is too big because on the mobile the weight is 375, but we said the this thing should have a width. So what we can do here is to use max. So we are not constrained. It can expand or it can reduce, but it should not go more than 380. Or if I want, it should not go more on small screen. It should not go more than 300. But I think it's too small, so 320. But what we can do here is what we can do. The width should be 90%, but whatever your 90%, it must not go more than 380. What did I type? This is not width. So that it can adjust automatically. But whatever adjusting you are doing there, don't go more than 380. So as you can see, this thing is going there, but the content that I'm creating here before, I'm using the screen, the big screen. So we need to reduce all this thing on small screen because the text on small screen is not like this. Let me go there. So where's the small? As you can see on the small screen, even the pattern is not that much. So we need to make sure that all these things are kind of as small to what we have. So this expiry, whatever stuff. So this expiry, the font size, The font size, I think it should be around that 12 pixels. So 0.75 RAM like this, so which is going to reduce this text there. So the same thing here too. This one should just be around 1.25 if it's not too much. But 1.5 rather. So who is shifting this one? So there's a lot of this thing which that we're using, which is not good on the mobile. So let me reduce this thing back to 1 REM so that it can have, but the bottom one, it's not like that. So 1 REM or left and right should be 1 REM like this. You just need to find the balance 1.25. So on the top and the bottom, there is more. Even on the bottom, so I can use 1.5 REM so that there is more space at the bottom side compared to the top, and the left and right are equal. But why is this one just going outside of the screen? So let me see what is going on. It might be this name is pushing it like that, so which is not supposed to be. So why are you going outside of the screen? So what do we have there? We have the div of this expiry date, so which is supposed to have a width of 100%. And again, let me check the parents. So this is, you can see all of them are going outside, which is not supposed to be here. So I think the problem is this width, because the zero, the image, where is the image, where is the parent? Look at it. So this is the problem. So the box width is not using that image width again. So what we need to do here is whatever this width of this image is going to, where is it? Where is the container? So there is a front card. We need to talk to it that it must not go more than its content. So max width. So max width of this one should just be max content. Whatever the highest content that is inside you, that's what you should kind of at. Or let me see. It's still kind of using what I don't want it to use. Let me try this main content. So whatever the minimum content, nah, it can't be like that. So this is what I will do. This is what I will do here. So I have to move this thing. I have to move it inside here, because now the weight are not balanced again. And since it's not balanced, we need to do it in a separate way. So this one should have a width of 100%. 100% means whatever your parent is using, so it will reset. So we are talking to the wrapper itself. So whatever width, the one that is inside it will see it, and it will not be going outside of the screen again. So the width of the image is depending on what we set here. So but the parent is not depending on the height of this one. So as this one is adjusting height, so it will just put everything together like this. Okay, I think it's okay. So what we just need to do now, what we need to do, even this thing here, well, what we need to do now is to make sure that this thing is positioned very well. But before we get into that positioning stuff, let's bring in the back cards too, so that we can actually place them on top of each other correctly there like that. So let's go into the back card too and bring it in. So we do the same thing, just that nothing much on the back side. So where's our back card? So it should be somewhere here. So this is a back card. So inside the back card here too, we need to use that same method that we did for this front. So I'm going to copy this one and just change the imports there. So this is going to be back now, not front, and this one too is going to be back card. So back like this. So save it, and on the screen we should have the stuff. But that one too is too big. So, and what I want to do here is that the size that I have for this one is the same size that I want to have for this one. So which means here now, anytime I want to do any changes, I have to be going inside too far to make the changes. So instead of me doing that, what I can do is to apply like a generic setting to the two of them where I can update this stuff here. So and where can we do that one? I can use my variable here. So instead of me doing that, I can just do card width like this. So card width. Anytime I modify this variable in the global state, it will work for the total. The same thing with this one too. So what we just be doing is to update these variables. So the same thing to here var, which is going to be the uh, card max width like this. So it's always good that you use correct or a descriptive name. So if I save it, that one will not work again because nothing like this. So where are we going to see this? We can just go inside our index.css and we add it to our variable, the list of variable. And I've not even defined any variable. So because we still need to define a variable for the color. So inside this root, I will define this card max width, which is going to be 380 pixels. So again, to the card width is going to be 90%. So save it, and it's supposed to detect the stuff and adjust the stuff. So where is it? Final save. I've saved it to what? It's not detecting my variable. Where are you? Let me close all this thing that I'm here using now. So close this one, close this, close thank you. I don't think I'm using this one again for now. So page layouts, so close. Then for the front, so what I'm using here is what I'm going to use there too. So just copy this one, come back into this back. As I said, we are going to be using the same thing. So the only thing I just need to change is this back card. As you can see, it's the same variable that they are using there like that. So I have position relative. So what do I need to do here? So where's the back card? I hope I'm using the same name. Style.back card wrapper. So let's inspect now and see what is going on because it's not using the value. So inspecting this stuff, where is it? So inspecting the back, the front. So he said he cannot find this variable. It's in this one. Can you see that it's in this one? But he said he cannot find this one. So which means the typing is wrong. So the way I type it, it's wrong. So let me check the index. So what did I call it? Card. Oh yeah, it's wrong. So that is D is missing here. Like that. So as you can see, it will change automatically. So the same thing too, we need to check this our bad card. So why is it not showing? Because it's supposed to adjust to automatically since we are using the same thing. Okay, now I've seen the reason why it's not changing. So I've seen the reason why it's not changing. So the reason why it's not changing is because I've not talked to the image that is inside it. So go back to the card. So inside this bar card wrapper that we have there, so that is going to be image, that not image, not just any image, the direct image. Because later if you add and what do you want to do? This one should have width of 100%. Whatever the size of your parent, can you see that the image is going more than the, because it's not going to use the parent width by default. So use the size of your parent, and as you can see, so if I modify the stuff from here, it will update it too. Not that I have to go into two file to do the changes. So here now if I change this one to maybe like 320, you see that the two file will change, the two card will change. So the size is the same thing. So anytime you say that you are using something or the value in different places, just create a variable for it so that you don't need to be changing the value again and again in different places anytime you need to make any changes there like that. So now we have all this card, but we've not done this one. We need to place the back one too. So where's the back card? Let's come here. We ask you to close. Where's the back card? So what we need to do now inside this place too, we need to create like a span. That span we need to now position it into this side. On this one is just three number 1, 2, 3, but by default it's going to be 0, 0, 0. That number at the back of the card. But if you look at it, it will not be there where we want it to be. But this is where we want it to be. So we need to make sure that it is showing at that place. So what we need to do here is to call this back card wrapper. So calling the back card wrapper, that is a span inside it. So we need to position it as absolute. That's why we position this one relative so that we can move it around inside the box. So I know that it's going to go to around that. So the right should be maybe 2 rem. If it's not too much, the top should be around that 4 rem. It's just a random value, but we update it as you can see. So it's not perfect, and we can see it. So I need to increase this one a little bit, the right, maybe around that 2.5. So let me see again.
Yes.
Where is the back card? Yeah. So as you can see, there is just a little gap from this side, which is okay. Then this one's supposed to come to the
Okay,
center
yeah, sure,
of
sure.
that box. So I need to increase this one. Let me try 5. It's not too much. Yeah, and it's almost 5.25. Nah, too much. 5.125.
So
I
you
think
just
it is okay.
set your
Like this, I
photo
can just shift this one two
online
more
content.
to
So you
the
do it
other
now.
side. Is it not coming down more? I think 5 should be okay. 5 is okay. 5 is okay. So we need to change the color. So I've not really copied any of the color that is given to us. So let me go into the folder. So where is the design? Go into the folder, the style guide, and copy all the color that we need from it. So open the style guide. So that I did with notepad, and I can update our variables, the global variables that we need. And inside any of the CSS file, we can call it because index is always available. So since it's available, we put all the our variable inside this one here. So what are you loading? What are you loading? What are you loading? Please come outside. Okay, why that one is loading? Why that one is loading? Because I actually want to update the back before I start moving into laying out the stuff. Yeah, so these are the color that we need. This is the gradient. Gradient, what do we need this gradient for? So this is the error color. Let me just copy all of them and we'll convert it to a variable. So copy, go into the file, close this one, I don't need it again. Then down here, paste, and we'll convert everything to a variable. So this is the linear gradient for the day. Okay, this is when your border is this one is crazy because to do this kind of stuff is crazy. To have a gradient for the border is crazy. Oh, we're going to, so this is there is error. So when there is input error, this is what is going to use. So and this is gradient. So we need to convert it to a proper gradient. So this is going to be linear gradient like this. Or so there is nothing like to what have to be here is comma. So down here, let's remove all this. I don't need to create this in for white. White is always white. So light grayish, violet. So close. So this one is going to be dark, and I think that's the color is using at the back. This light grayish violet. So this is going to be very dark violet. So where is this one being used? So we've created all our variables. So let me use this value. Because I think that's what is using a dark color for that back number. So go into save, go back into the back, then the color of this one. So the color of this one should be that variable that I just copied now. How many hyphen? So save, and it's going to update the color. So we are done with this for now. We are done with this styling. The only thing we just need to do is to move them around. And how do we move them around? Don't forget we are using it in a particular component, which is this. Where are you? Which is this payment card. So this payment card is the one that's using. So it's the one that will now move them around like that. So or if you want, we can actually do it directly from each one of them. So I think let's do it directly from each one of them. Or if you want to do it, you can do it from this side there, from this CSS of this box. So what do we need to do? Have I given this one a class? Okay, payment card wrapper. So the payment card wrapper like this. So what do we need to do? What we want to do here is to position it absolute. So we need to put, let me see, where's the design? If you look at it, look at the way it is. We need to position it absolute because if you look at the card, it's coming out of the stuff And again, too, if you go to the desktop, you see that the apparent too is on top of another content, like it's being shifted around there, like that. So here now, we need to position it as absolute, and we can start moving it around anywhere we want it to be. So position absolute, but I don't think I actually position this one. Oh. So position absolute. I did not position this aside, which is something we need to do. So under the layout, this our aside, we need to position it as a relative because you want the movement of this thing to base on this card. So since you want it to be on this card, then this one needs to be positioned as relative so that the calculation of that absolute will now be based on this. So going back to the page, as you can see, they are no more on the screen. We can now move them around anywhere we want to move them to, like that. So let me close this side. So what do we want to do? What we want to do here, where is the payment card? So I want it to, the top should be the top. Let me see the design. What's the spacing from the top on the mobile? So what's the spacing from the top on the mobile? I see there is a little bit of space there, and they are kind of close to this side. Let me give you background so that you can see where this stuff is. So background should just be red. So the top should be around that 1.5 area. The right should be around that 1 rem like this. So saved. And once this thing is saved, as you can see, this is where it is. So it's going to have this space. So we need to talk to this card. You know, this one here. We need to talk to it to be by this side. And this, wait, oh, that's not the one, it's the back one. So the back supposed to go up, while this one supposed to come down here. If you want, you can do it from here, but I don't think we should be doing it from here. So anything that is directly first, anything that is first child of this stuff, so position should just be uh but there's going to be a problem here. Oh. So who is calling me? Who's So the position should just be absolute, that because we want to be able to move all this in. Look, it's gone. Where did you go to? We don't know. So what I want to do here now, the right should be zero. No, no, no. No, 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 no. That one's supposed to come down. Where's the design? So it's supposed to come down. It's on the left side. So the bottom should be around that, or let me just use top. So the top should be 120%. So this is it. Look at the card. This red card now. The top, this is zero. This is 100%. So I'm now saying I'm shifting this thing down. So I'm now shifting this thing down by this stuff. So what do we need to do? Top should just come down. Can you see? The red, this is 100%. So I'm now saying I'm moving down by 120. So let me bring out this in so that you can see what is it. The red, this is a zero. Zero. Where is it top? Is zero. That's zero. So from that place to this place is 100%. But I now said it should be 120. So which means it will add extra 20% to this stuff so that it can move it down like this, so that it can follow like what we have on this page. Because if you look at, and it's not even that much. No, it's not that much. It's not up to that. It's not much. This thing is not much. So what I need to do is to move it. That 120 that I use is too much. So it's too much. I can use around 80 like this. So 80 should be enough. Yeah. Or 90. So yes, and we need on the left, it needs to come to this side by 1 rem or so. So it's going to be here. But it's supposed to be on top of this one. So in order for it to be on top of this one, you can use your C index to control which element comes to the front. No, the last one that you type is what is always going to come to the front. And that's the reason why you see that this one is at the top. But we can use the Z index to control it. Maybe if this one 3, like that, then to move it to the front. Because by default, all of them are on the zero level. So once they're on the zero level, Then the CSS will use the element that comes last. So any element that comes last, that's really the one that will be at the top. But if you don't want it to be like that, you can now use index to control which one will go to the front, which one will go to the back. This back is having 0. So we now increase this one to 3. And since 3 is more than 0, then it will come to the front. So we need to move that one too. So this payment card again, inside it we have anything that is last, that's the card, the other card. So anything that is last, then we can now shift that one too. According to the design, that one is going to the right side, like that. It have this kind of a 1 rem or whatever stuff. Or even if I don't want to do this one, what I can do is that the top of this one should just be 0. So let this top of this one be 0, or let me leave it like that. I will just increase this one. So this one too, position should just be absolute like this. Then the top of this one should be maybe around that 2 rem. I don't know. I'm just using random value for now and see whether it works. So on the right is going to be 0. Why am I using right of 0? Right of this one already is 1. So which means it's supposed to align to where that parent stops. So if you don't want it to be like that, what you can do here is to make this one to be 0, then this one will now be 1. Because don't forget, the calculation of all this thing is based on their parent. Wherever the parent is, that's where they are going to calculate their own top, left, right. That's why I show you that red. So where that red is starting, that's the top. So since I want this thing to stop where this parent is stopping here, so is that this one is 0 or this one? Because if you increase the value, increase this one, where this one stop, that's when it will now start this one. Not that it will start from this edge. So saving this one, and if our value is okay, then we should have everything on the screen, and I'm not seeing anything. So what is happening? What's going on? All my content are gone. What's going on? What did I do? Is that not the element that is here? Ah, is that not the element that is last child? Let me check. Yes, we have the front card and I have the back card. So why am I not having it? Because now it's not seeing my card. It's not seeing my card. You go repeated. Let me check the HTML where everything go to. So I have this. This is the front card, and this is the back card. Oh, my top is 2 rem. Yes, for the last position is absolute because the card is nowhere to be found. The width is no more there again. The width, the problem now is that the width is not showing. This one too is not having width, and the height is just 0. So what is going on? And it's because of this absolute positioning that is here. So it's because of this absolute positioning here. So why do I have this problem? Let me pause. Time has gone. So let's give it that height and width so that it can come outside. But this one is absolute, this one is absolute, this one is absolute. It doesn't see anything to depend on. So it doesn't have its own space again. We need something to depend on, and since there is nothing to depend on, we need to, so it doesn't know how to calculate the width and height again. Then the height of this one should just be 200 pixels. Then save it, and it should. So the width is going to, this is the red box. It started from here and it's stopping here, and we will now move the other this thing down a little bit. Is that the way it is? Let me see the, oh, see that the this card actually touch the box of this one, but our own is not getting there. So which means this one, which one of them, let me remove this background so that I can see the space we have. Okay, we have this. So which means my card needs to go up or reduce this one like this so that it can move my card up 150. Yeah, 180 is too much. 170, I think 160 should match. 150 is okay. Yeah, but I don't want it to touch. 154. See, it's a little, but this number is up. We need to move it down a little bit too. And this one should just 152 is okay. Yeah. So this is how it is. And that's how it's going to be too on the desktop. So we need to, can you see the way it changed? Because it's depending on this aside. So because it's using aside to move. Wherever the aside go to, that's what it's going to use. So now on desktop, we just need to shift it towards this side and space them from each other. But first, let's see the mobile is it matching already. So the mobile is not matching already. So let's put them side by side and compare the stuff. So this one is here. And I can see that our card is too big on small. It's still too big. Our card is too big. Can you see? Their card stop at this side. So which means their card is not taking 90%, like the way that I specify it. So it's not using 90%. So we need to make sure that the design match. So instead of us using this 90%, I think let's use 80% or so. As you can see, I think let's see 70%. So I think 70% is quite off. 75% of whatever the screen is like this. But you see now our number has gone out because the size has reduced. So, or let's just use 80. I think 80 should be okay. So 80 is okay. We just need to work on this number that we have on the card. So for the back card, so that top needs to change. So this 5 rem that I'm using needs to be reduced. 4.95 is not 4 like this. 4.5 so that it's 4.45. So I think it is a little 4.35. Yeah. So here too, this number is too big. I need to reduce it. So where is it? Under the front card. So what did I use there for the H3? I used 1.5. So let me use 1.35. Uh, like this. 1.375 rather. That's 22 pixels. So I think it's okay. Then when we get to a bigger screen, we can now expand the card. So I think it's looking like, so we need to move this thing up back because now that thing has switched again. So uh where's the payment card? So for the payment card here, I use 152. So let it just be 145, which is going to be 140, around that 140 or 138, so that it matches the design. So let's compare again. So the only thing that is left is just the width that we increase. I think it's okay like this. So we can now continue with the other thing. And I can see that their own card is actually, the height is not like our own height is really much. So we can reduce the height of the box, but let's just leave it like this for now. That's not the major thing. So that one can be worked on later on. So and the next thing we need to do is that to make sure that this thing is responsive on the desktop screen. So what do we need to do on the desktop here? So when it is 768, so at media screen like this, and mean width of 768 pixels. So what do we want to do? So what we did here, we need to align it to a different place. So move all this thing downward. It is positioned already. What we just need to do is to update it. I don't know, maybe I'm going to update this height and width for now, but let me just reduce it, remove it. So what we just need to update is here, stop and right. Don't forget, we need to move it outside so that it's come here. So in order for it to come outside, we need to use negative. If you want it to go to that side, you use negative. So this one I can use maybe around that 5 rem or 6 rem to be shifting it towards the right. If you use positive, it's going to the opposite side. So like that. But I think let me just use this is zero. The line, this is zero. This is zero. So if I use zero, it will stay on that line, which is what it's doing by default. But I can use minus 20%. You know, 20% will go like this, but minus it will remove that space by 20%. But I think 20% is too small. Let me use 40%. I don't know. So it will, let me check the original design. So what do we have there? So let's go there. And I think it's supposed to be here because this one is depending on it. So like that, it's depending on it. So let's shift it a little bit. Let's just shift it maybe 50%. I think it's okay like that. So where do I think? And again, it's at the center of the stuff. So the top is going to be 50% like this. It's going to move it down, but it overdo it. So we need to transform the stuff because anytime you use 50% from left and right or top to bottom, it's only moving the left or that side. It's not moving the center of the box. In order for you to move the center of the box, you need to transform it back by using translate. Since we are doing it on up and down, we need y. If you are doing it left and right, you need x. So this is going to be minus 50%. And once you save now, it will move the box to the center. So the only thing we just need to do is to move all these one that is inside it. So let me start with that first one, which is our dark card. So what do we need to do? What we need to do here is to move the card up like that. So what we just need to do, instead of this one to be using top of 90, the top should just be zero by, let me use zero first. So just take it up. So this is where it is. Let me give you background so that you can see where this element is. So background should just be red. Whatever this element is, that's what they are using to tap. You can see where it is. So that's why it's top is what I just need to use here is maybe around it. Or if I even don't want this thing to come down to that place, I can just shift it a little, but I don't want it to be like that. So I will just or let's do it like that. Don't let me use this top to be too much like this. So the top should just be around that 20% because that thing is too much. So let me remove this one so that whatever it is at the top, that's what is just going to stay. So by default, this one should just stay at the zero. So on top, stay where that parent is. Then we can now move this one down. So let me check it. Yeah, so this one needs to come down a little bit. So this one needs to come down. So where's the other one? So this is it. So this is the last child. So we just need to talk to it. This one, I don't need to use this one here. The left too, I don't think I'm changing it. So the value you're not changing, you just leave it the way it is at the top there because to be using it already. So you don't need to update it. But the one you want to change is what you just affect there. So the here too, I don't need to change this into absolute. It's already absolute. But the top is saying it's 2. It's not supposed to be 2. So if this one is 20, then this one should be around that 80. Or this is no for this is 100. So this is 100. So which means it will be a little, because if I use 87, it will not even get down. But don't forget, it's using the box to calculate the percentage. But let me use 150%. Yeah. So let me remove this background because we don't need it. And from there, but our card is too small to me. The card is too small. So which means when we get to a bigger screen, we want to increase our card. So when we get to a bigger screen, we want to increase this value, this card width that we apply here. So down here, what we can do is add media query and main width of 768 pixels. So we need to update our we want to update that. We want to update this our card width. It should be nine. What do we use it? Think it should be 90% so that it will increase the card. So once we get to bigger scene, increase the card so that we have enough this in there. So which means this one's supposed to go there. We need to go and update that stuff. But now other card is going there a little bit. So we need to update the stuff. So where is the card? So this is where the most of this absolute of a thing. That's the work on this absolute stuff. That's on. And once perfect the stuff, that's the end of it. So you don't need to adjust anything again. So we need to update this one, this card here, this first one. So we update the stuff. We need to update its left. The left should be minus 20% because I want it to go to this opposite side, which is too much. So 10 should be okay. So I think it's okay like this. You don't need to do too much. We just need to update all these text on the big screen. We need to update this one too on the big screen. So we need to work on the big screen. So where is the front card? Or let's work on the back card first. So at media, so at media screen and mean width 768 pixels. So once we get to this screen, the back card, that span, we need to move it down a little bit. So the top should be around that 5 rem. If it is not too much or too ah, what did I type? Width. Yeah, it's 5.25. Yes. So again, too, we need to increase all this. We need to increase that number on the front side. So this one too, where is it? Yeah, this one. So at media, screen, and a mean width of 768 pixels. So change the font to around let me see 0.75, which should be 625. I think this one is okay for now. Yeah. So we are done with this layout stuff. We are done with the layout stuff. The only thing we need to focus on now is the details here. But I'm seeing that there's a little bit of a problem here because this one now, I hope it does not affect our contents that we'll be putting inside the box. And again, we need to fix this thing on a big screen. On big screen, there should be more space on this thing. So let me quickly fix this one and we'll call it a day because time has gone already and I don't want this thing to be going more than an hour. So when the thing is going more than an hour, which is going to be. So let me duplicate this one. Then make sure that it looks nice on this bigger screen. 1000 1024. The only thing I'm changing, I'm not changing this one. The only thing I'm changing is that second card. I don't think I'm updating the other one. So this is the only thing I'm changing, which I can just use this 170. Then I'm not changing the right. There is the only thing I want to update. So 180 like this. Or I can even increase the height of these parents instead of me even wasting my time. I can update this height so that it have more height, then this number will reduce. For now, let me just leave it like this, or just use 200 like this. On the 768, it like this. What's going on? Ah, something is going on here. 1024, 1440, all right. 1024, all right. Where is the 768? So why is this number increased? What's going on? Is that number too big? Is it too big for that screen? It's too big for that screen. Let me put it. So where is it? The front card. The front card. The front card. This thing is not too big now. 1024. So I thought I updated this stuff. 768 card width should be 90%. Or I can increase it directly myself. So let me leave it like this. Yes.
So
On a
now
bigger screen, yes. On a smaller screen, placed on top of each other.
face value.
On tablets by this side, but this tablet is too much. The side is too much. We need to look because there is no
So
space to
I'm
put
just saying for
our
instance,
phone, but
if
we're
you
going to
just
be working on that in the
if you just
next
take
class
from
because it's
one
already 1 hour.